It's been a hard, heavy week for Sri Lanka. Mother Nature struck with a force that has left our little island grieving, counting the loss of lives, homes, and hope. Yet, in the midst of every disaster that tests us repeatedly, something always rises: our resilience and the kindness of those around us. From tireless volunteer rescuers and our courageous Triforces to international organizations and supportive governments around the world, humans find a way to come together when it matters most. In our darkest moments, unity becomes our light. This is Kaleidoscope, trying to spread a little positivity around with our stories that matter. I'm Savithri, Rodrigo. From the Kaleidoscope studios, Dr. Ishani Nanekara, Koluu, and your speedy wrap for the week on CDB News. There's something about the ritual of a Christmas pudding that makes life that much livelier when it comes to Christmas. And I am here in Koluu's kitchen, surrounded by nearly 200 Christmas puddings. And Koluu is going to tell us a little bit more about why Christmas puddings should continue as a ritual at Christmas.
If you look back in the medieval time, it is considered savoury, which became a traditional plum pudding, a sweet later on in life. So it's famous all over England and all over the world. In Sri Lanka, yes, it's a bit of a quiet taste we have to have in Sri Lanka. And sometimes I fear that this Christmas pudding will become a bit of a dying art in our island because people are into more other things, into other things. But the joy of all putting the dried fruit together, which is such a beautiful color, then throwing the spices, the essences, the eggs, loads of butter. We used to use this sweat earlier, and it comes out in this wonderful, rich, delicious pudding. So this is the final product, as you can see, Savithri, right?
Yes.
Instructions here. Steam for half an hour, loosen the sides, turn over, flambe and serve with brandy butter. This has to be served hot. A lot of people make the mistake of serving it cold, which is not nice. What is nice about it is the warmness of the pudding and the brandy butter melting into.
Kaleidoscope is everywhere on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. Follow, like, and subscribe to stay connected. We couldn't share all these stories without SriLanka Live, CDB, and the Daily Morning. Thank you.
She wins with CDB Wings, exclusive financial solutions for women.
Fast facts, fresh updates, your weekly CDB news in a blink. Cyclone Ditwah has ravaged our island. Now, what's our situation? Sri Lanka ranks 135th out of 188 countries on the Climate Finance Vulnerability Index. 210 to 320 billion rupees is the estimated loss due to the floods. Over 275,000 of the 1.5 million people affected by the cyclone are children. The silver lining: the UK, China, Pakistan, India, UAE, Maldives and the US and more countries are helping Sri Lanka regain her footing. And here's what our markets are looking like this week. And just like the weather last week in Sri Lanka, it was all doom and gloom on the Colombo Stock Exchange, with the all-share price index heading towards 22,000 points after hitting 23,600 points in November. In 2026, analysts expect WTI to average $59 per barrel and Brent at $62 per barrel amid persistent oversupply. Currently, WTI oil remains at below $59 per barrel. Gold was at $4,200 per ounce as investors expected a US Federal Reserve rate cut, while silver prices moved above $58 per ounce to all-time record highs. Australia imposes a ban on social media accounts of children under 16 years. And a winter-themed Fabergé egg fetches a record 30.2 million US dollars at a rare auction.
You focus on your goals. We will take care of the risks. SriLanka Life.
Doctors in rural hospitals anywhere in the world often face extreme challenges: limited resources, remote communities, and high-stake cases. With 2 fellowships, Dr. Ishani specializes in multiple competencies, providing critical care across Western Australia and Queensland's most remote regions. From emergency medicine and pediatrics to anesthesia and indigenous health, she mentors future doctors and champions community-centered healthcare. We explore her experiences and insights next on Kaleidoscope SriLanka Life Dialogues. What have you learned from working closely with the Aboriginal and the Torres Strait Islander communities?
Based on their cultural heritage, based on their stolen generation issues, their mental health is very sad. Based on that traumatic setting, there is so much of mental health which is also associated with alcohol, drugs, trauma, violence, and then tribal differences when they come together. So you have to be aware of all this when you go into different communities, and that's the most challenging part. And in Arakoon, there are different tribes, and when I went there, I got my assignment for a few weeks, and I realized there's so much pathology I can learn. Things like syphilis, sexually transmitted infections, all the tropical diseases, the things that you don't usually see in a Caucasian population or in a metropolitan region was first my eye-opener. I really loved the pathology, and I thought this is a great place for me to learn.
Chronic diseases need ongoing medical care. Now, you are a fly-in, fly-out doctor. How do you ensure that that ongoing care continues?
We are expected to manage them, given chronic diseases, on that specialist level we have to manage. So the only time we reach out is when, for example, patients with diabetic, which has gone into extremes of chronic kidney disease, needing dialysis, needing kidney transplant. In such situations, then we reach out to the specialist and liaise with them in order to have them assessed and for further care. Until such time, we as rural generalists, we manage them. So whenever we have difficult cases, difficult scenarios, complex cases, it's not just one chronic disease, it's a mixture of everything, then we kind of have a telehealth consult together as a team management. One other thing is we have the thing called GP management plans. It's called general practice management plans that are done in most practices, and that helps screening and managing patients every 3 months, making sure they come, they followed up so that they don't fall out of the system.
What is the biggest challenge you have in working with rural communities?
The distance. For me, I have to travel thousands of miles. For me to go to Western Australia, it takes 3 flights, and then I drive another 250 kilometers, which I'm happily doing it, and it's an opportunity for me to see the country as well. It is the remoteness, and sometimes you're on your own. And when you go into these different hospitals, sometimes it takes a while for you to understand your teams. You need to know what resources we have and the strength of each person.
Being Sri Lankan, has it helped in your work? Do you take bits of culture and heritage with you?
Being Sri Lankan, we have that empathy. Our Sri Lankans are born for kindness, and it reflects when we go, and it shows, and people appreciate it very much. And whenever they ask me where's my primary education, I say I'm Sri Lankan, and my basic medical education was in Sri Lanka. The cake was baked in Sri Lanka, but the top of the icing was from Australia.
As we end Kaleidoscope this week, our prayers and thoughts are with our nation.